What's going on, folks? Well, welcome back to the Lawn Shark channel. Today I wanted to give you guys a quick, maybe not so quick, but give you a pretty in-depth view of what's going on in the lawn. We have spent the last few weeks doing quite a bit of work trying to get things done, and we actually have a lot of updates. In fact, oh, did you guys not see the house yet? Oh, yeah, check it out. We finally painted the house. This is something that we have been waiting on for over a year. In fact, if you go back and watch the preview video of our property, and I did like all kinds of videos showing you when we first moved in, and I said that we were going to paint the house within 2 weeks. Well, it took us a year to get to it. So here we are, and we love it. We love the color. The only thing that's left is we are getting a new front door. And then after that, we are doing some shutters, but I'm actually building the shutters myself. So I'll show you guys what that looks like when it gets all done, building it out of cedar. And I'll probably do a video on the Shark Shed channel to show you guys how I do that. So that being said, let's talk about the lawn. So as you can see, we're getting a few stripes here in the lawn. And the reason why we are doing that is I finally got the reel mower out. I went ahead and started mowing with the reel mower not too long ago. And it was set at the max height, which is just under 1 inch. And then I went through the process of lowering it to 3/4 of an inch, which is where we are today. I've showed the process of raising or lowering the height of cut on this reel mower before. I will share a video up in the upper right hand corner in the eye. So if you want to see the process of how we do this, it's not very difficult. It just takes a little bit of time, and you just have to make sure both sides are even, and then you are good to go. So we finally got that going, and it looks really good. I mean, we tried to do the reel mower in the back, but unfortunately there's just too many turns, and with that perennial ryegrass and it being kind of a precarious situation between now and when it starts getting really hot during the middle of summer, I didn't want to take any chances. So I decided to just keep doing my rotary mower in the back, and we'll do the reel mower up here. A couple of places that I want to show you guys real quick. So that it's mowing really well. There is still quite a bit of bumpiness, which is kind of a problem when you're doing a reel. So I'm having to be a little bit careful on those places, but I'll show you that real quick. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a discoloration right there, which means that it's actually really green. And the reason why it's really green is because there's a dip there. The rest of it's not too bad. There is a little bit of a hump there that you can see, and it's where a tree used to be, is what I can tell. And so there's still some stuff underneath there, and I just don't want to really dig it out, so I'm just going to leave it alone. It's recovering from being such a low cut, which I just started doing this past weekend, and you can see it's a little bit lighter right there, but we are getting some really nice stripes, and you can definitely see where there are some low spots which run right there, and that was the line from the sprinkler from last year, because the shutoff valve is right there, and then that's my water meter. So that's where you're seeing those things. You are seeing a little bit of dryness right there, and I need to address that with probably changing out the sprinkler head. So the only other place that I'm seeing a little bit of trouble is right here, and it looks like it's a little bit dry right there and there. And I'm wondering if it's because of this Japanese maple, which is actually doing way better than it did last year. But I think that there may be too much shade, but I also think it may be water. I changed the sprinkler head that's right there. I had one of those MP rotors that was doing an okay job, but I think it was missing a lot. So I think with the new sprayer, it's actually putting out a lot more water right there, and I think it's starting to recover. It actually looks a little bit better today than it did in the last couple of days. All the shrubs are doing well, and then we also have done a nice deep cut right there. So the flower beds are looking good. I didn't want to do too much more because I knew that the painters were going to probably trample quite a bit, and then we also did get new gutters, and so they were up there doing all that stuff, and I had to fix a bunch of rot. So I didn't want to do too much as far as like landscaping, but we've got the landscaping going and it's looking really good. And then when we go over to this side, you see the same thing. Did nice deep cut on the flower beds. It's looking really, really good. But again, I did not want to do too much work because I was afraid that the painters were going to do a lot of trampling and kill some stuff. So I didn't want to do that. But as you can see, that crepe myrtle I thought was dead, and that one I thought was dead as well. But they are both doing really, really well. And then also the shrubs that we've got up here are doing well. We just need to get a lot more color, so we're going to be working on that next. So when you look at the lawn from this side, you can kind of see the areas that are a little bit low, and they're exactly where you would think they would be, which is because of the water lines that were put in for the sprinklers. So we got one there, and then we've got a spot right up there. But you know, that's all leveling that we'll have to do throughout the rest of the season. You can see from this side, the sun's behind me, so you can't really see the stripes, but the reel mower is doing a great job of actually doing the striping. And I think that the grass is recovering from the lower height of cut that we have now, and it's greening up really nicely. But I will say that there are no weeds in this lawn. That T-zone from a couple weeks ago really did the trick. I mean, there is nothing. I mean, there was like one little spot right over there by the sidewalk where it gets really hot, and I honestly, I just pulled it, and that's like the only weeds that I see. It's about 90 a day. It's supposed to cool off and rain this weekend, but it's definitely hot, and I think that we'll start seeing some crabgrass pressure, but we'll deal with that as it comes. But as far as any other weeds, there's nothing up here. We're really clean, and I'm really happy. So let's take a look at the back, and we'll walk in through the side over here. So the only place that we can see right here is right here in this threshold area. And we put down some turf band, but I'm not terribly worried about it because nobody really comes back here. The steps are doing really well. They're nice and solid. We were going to do a whole bunch of flower beds and stuff along the edge here, and decided that it was just getting too hot and we didn't want to tear up a bunch of stuff. But we do have some turf band, trying to fill in these areas and trying to keep it wet. But the one thing we did do that we started this season was these 4 rose bushes. And as you can see right up here, one of them is blooming and doing really well. Now, as you can see, we got a bunch of debris right there. And if you look at the rest of the lawn, there's a lot of debris. We got a lot of wind today, and a lot of stuff is shaking out from the trees. So we're gonna see some debris, but I mowed last night, and you can see the perennial ryegrass is doing really well. We're a little bit nervous about what's gonna happen when things start getting really hot, but we'll see. But going back to the rose bushes, you can see we've got some blooms right there. And the other 3 of them, there's one there and one there. The only other thing that I'm seeing right here is that it's a little bit on the muddy side, and that's because I'm getting water on it on my side and my neighbor's getting water on hers. And nothing I'm gonna do about it. I mean, she needs to get her lawn wet. It's getting some double water there, but we're just gonna keep an eye on it. We're really keeping an eye on the things like fungus, because we are putting down quite a bit of water in this area, but I'm trying to stay on top of it. The flower beds right up here, not a lot of flowers yet, but at least they are nice and defined, and we're starting to keep track of all of that stuff. And then as you can see, the back of the house looks completely different. New paint, we've got lights, but as you can see, everything is greening up really nicely. We're really happy with the way the backyard is looking. We've got quite a bit of things that we've done, and we're trying to make it as cozy and nice as possible. We've had lots of friends come over, and we eat outside, and they just love the way everything looks and feels back here. And if you go back, I'll try to link up in the eye some of the older videos so you can kind of get an idea of what it looked like before, when we were really tearing up this yard. And that was only a year ago. But I'm telling you right now, this grass is like super thick, and it's doing really well. Again, total experiment. We have no idea what's going to happen when it starts getting really hot in July and August, but for now it looks amazing. So we're pretty happy with it, and I don't have any weeds back here. I mean, I can show you the grass real close. We had a bunch of weeds that were starting to pop up in the early spring, but that T-zone really did a great job and got rid of everything. So it's green and growing, and I think we're in good shape for now. As we walk over here, you can see how the hill is turning out. I changed a bunch of my sprinkler heads on the hill. I've got sprinklers that run right along the fence there, and then I've got other sprinklers that take care of the grass. But I had to change some of the sprinkler heads over here because they were MP rotors, and they just weren't putting enough water out for that hill. With all of that mulch and new plants and everything else, it just wasn't doing very well. But I think that we finally got the irrigation system running properly, and we're going to be in good shape. A lot of the flowers are starting to recycle, so these yellow snapdragons are doing really well, and then some of those white daisies up there they're kind of looking a little rough, but it's only because the flowers are kind of swapping out. And then when we look down here at this little flower bed, which is right around the pole, it looks really good. When they redid my crawl space, and I don't know if you guys look at some of the older videos, you can see that door was hanging on by a thread, to be honest with you. And so when they replaced that, they had to do a bunch of work in blasting out the floor joists, and they did it with this stuff that's basically baking soda, and it blew out right over here where that muddy spot was. But as you can see, it was all brown and it has recovered. I didn't do anything as far as turf mend or any seeding. I just kept watering it and fertilizing it, and it recovered on its own. So that perennial ryegrass is doing very, very well, and I'm really happy with the way it's turning out right there. So as we keep walking through here, I mean, like I said, I could not be more happy with the way things are looking. This grass is striped so beautifully. Unfortunately, the sun is right overhead, so you can't really see it. I'm doing the mowing on my rotary mower, which is my Toro. And, you know, I don't have a stripe kit on it, but it still looks really great. And in fact, if we look back, you can kind of see a little bit of the striping. And again, nothing special. I'm not doing anything with a striping kit or anything like that. It's just the straight up mowing that I'm using, and it's doing really well. So when we look over here, as far as landscaping is concerned, we relocated a few plants. We've got some vines that were growing up in here. In fact, that one right there is kind of dead. It's called a Virginia creeper, and it will take over everything. And I don't want that in there. So my wife and I went through this weekend and kind of pulled everything. It'll keep coming back, so we're gonna have to continue to do that. But when you look right here at these periwinkle, this is what we want to move and continue to grow across the hill. And then at the very top over there, we've got some English ivy, which is growing, and we love that stuff. So in fact, you've got a little bit of it right in there. And so we're gonna continue to let that continue to move, and then we'll start controlling it when it starts hitting the hill. We definitely want it to stop right about here. And then if we need to relocate some of these plants, but if it all takes over in here, we'll be happy with that. And then we finally just started doing some landscaping. Nothing crazy, you know, put down some evergreens right here. That'll be nice during the winter. And then I've got a little Japanese maple because they're super, super expensive. And I wanted to start small and let it grow, but it's doing really well. I don't have any irrigation in here. So I need to make sure that I keep that watered by hand. And so I'm doing that every day that I can. But I do have a sprinkler head now up there. It's a rotary sprinkler head. So that sucker will actually water all the way to here, and it just rotates all the way around. So I'm actually getting quite a bit of the hill. The only thing I'm missing is like these last few plants here. So I get those when I get the plants over here on the hill. So that is a tour of the lawn. The one thing that I did as well in the lawn this past week was I finally put down that Group 11 fungicide, and that is a longer lasting fungicide that should last at least 30 days. So we will continue to monitor the fungus in this lawn because we are getting a lot of rain. It is getting warmer, and we want to continue to address that and make sure that we don't have any more issues as far as fungus is concerned. Outside of that, fertilization, we'll continue to do that. We've got some fertilizer coming up. But you know, as far as like mowing and the grass and the health of it at this point in the season, we're pretty happy with it. Other than a few dry spots that I showed you guys, that's the only thing that we really are a little bit concerned with. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that sort of thing. We'll see what happens in July and August. I keep telling everybody, I have no idea what's gonna happen with perennial ryegrass in the back. I'm not even sure what's gonna happen with the Kentucky Bluegrass if we get super hot. But I mean, the best thing I can do is just keep doing what I'm doing and keep dealing with it as we see it. So hope you guys enjoy this little bit of a preview and got to see a little bit of what's going on in the lawn. You know, the mowing is pretty enjoyable right now just because, I mean, it's always great to mow grass that is like really healthy. And so we're gonna keep going down that path. If you like this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Really appreciate all the support you guys have given me. This past year, we're starting to grow a little bit, and we're starting to see some good, healthy growth in the channel, and I appreciate that from you guys. If you want to be notified of future videos, don't forget to hit that bell, and you'll be notified next time I come out with new content. Other than that, I hope you guys have a blessed week, and we will see you on the next one. See ya.